They called it the Lord's Work, a place where Southern Baptist retirees could put their life savings and trust it would grow while quietly funding churches, missions, and children's homes. By the time it collapsed in 1999, over 11,000 investors, many of them elderly churchgoers, had lost more than $500 million. And the men responsible didn't buy yachts or mansions with the money. They just couldn't admit they'd failed. The Baptist Foundation of Arizona was created in 1948 by the Southern Baptist Convention to manage endowments for the church, eventually growing into an independent nonprofit that sold individual retirement accounts and other investment products. For decades it ran as intended, taking investor funds and putting them into Arizona real estate, promising above-market returns while supporting Baptist causes. The strategy worked while Arizona's housing market was booming, but a real estate collapse in the late 1990s threatened to wipe out those gains entirely. Rather than admit the losses and risk the foundation's collapse, Foundation President Bill Krotz, who had taken over the role from his own father, chose to hide the truth. Instead of filing for bankruptcy and coming clean, Krotz began concealing the losses and misleading investors about the foundation's actual financial health. According to prosecutors, foundation leadership created off-the-books shell entities, described in court as a series of bad banks, propped up by overvalued real estate holdings and worthless IOUs, to bury the mounting losses while continuing to solicit new investment money. The foundation kept paying returns to existing investors using money from new ones, the defining mechanic of a Ponzi scheme, just wrapped in the language of Christian stewardship. Recruiters worked through Southern Baptist churches, with some pastors even promoting the investments from the pulpit, leaning heavily on the word stewardship, a term loaded with religious meaning for congregants raised to believe in turning their money over for God's work. What makes this case unusual, even among affinity frauds, is what prosecutors themselves later admitted. The men running it weren't chasing personal wealth. The lead prosecutor on the case noted that executives didn't steal the money to buy yachts or vacations. By most accounts, they seemed to genuinely care about their investors and had run a legitimate operation before the real estate crash forced their hand. Krotz, in particular, appeared driven less by greed than by an inability to let his father's legacy collapse on his watch. The foundation's outside auditor was Arthur Anderson, the same firm that would become infamous just a few years later for its role in the collapse of Enron. The scheme finally caved in 1999. State regulators ordered the foundation to stop selling securities, triggering what became one of the largest nonprofit bankruptcies in American history. Investigators found that roughly 11,000 investors had lost a combined $580 million. Many of them retirees who had trusted their entire nest egg to people they'd sat next to in church pews. 8 former foundation leaders were eventually indicted. Most pleaded guilty and cooperated